A fiery big rig crash on the 10 freeway. A hazardous materials team is called on the scene as westbound traffic is backed up for miles.
And new questions tonight about a rape case involving a former Palm Springs Power baseball player. We're learning where the crime allegedly took place. And the question tonight is, did it cost a high school football coach his job?
KMIR News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. This is your KMIR News at 6 and streaming live on KMIR.com. I'm Thalia Hayden.
And I'm Gino, Lamont. Topping the news at 6 tonight, a fiery crash on Interstate 10 this morning. The driver of a big rig hits a guardrail, overturns, and then the truck catches fire. Traffic is snarled for hours.
The crash happened around 6:45 this morning, just west of Hagen-Lehman Way. The westbound side of the freeway was completely shut down. KMIR's Angela Monroe is live at the scene. Angela, is traffic any better now?
Thalia and Gino, to be honest, it really doesn't look like it's any better out here right now. Traffic is still a nightmare on Interstate 10 on the westbound lanes. If you take a look behind me, you can see just how far back that stretches. It stretches back farther than Indian Canyon. So we've got nearly standstill traffic for about 8 miles out here. It's been 11 hours since that crash took place. And since then, of course, vehicles have been overheating. You can see that there are some semis pulled over on the side here. And there have been people, we've seen some of them, who are trying to take shortcuts through the desert, trying to find out a way around this, but they've not been able to. There were also a couple accidents that California Highway Patrol told me about that have happened in this huge traffic backup. Now, the crash, once again, like I said, happened 11 hours ago, just a little before 7 a.m. west of Hagen-Lehman Way. Highway Patrol tells us the driver took his eyes off the roadway and in that moment allowed the truck to drift. The big rig hit a metal guardrail and the driver overcorrected. The truck and his trailer swerved to the left and overturned. The truck's fuel tank was damaged during the accident, spilling its contents and causing the truck to go up in flames. With all that said, no one was hurt in the crash and no other cars were involved in that accident. Hazmat crews were on scene. That's part of what's taken us so long cleaning it up. Police said the trailer was hauling some type of hazardous material. Crews don't know exactly what they were dealing with. However, CAL FIRE did say on their website that it was some form of pesticide that was out there. If you are planning to head out of town, expect delays. The number 3 and 4 lanes have reopened, but the other lanes are not expected to reopen until right about now. I talked to California Highway Patrol just a couple of minutes ago. They said they were still expecting to open at 6, but they say because of just how congested it's become out here, it still could take a couple hours for this backup to ease along Interstate 10. Live along Interstate 10, I'm Angela Monroe. Back to you.
Angela, I don't know if you know this, but if you have to head westbound on the 10 and you don't want to spend the 2 or 3 hours to get through this, as the congestion is clearly still a problem, what other way out of the valley is there heading westbound?
You know, Gino, we've actually had plenty of drivers stopping and asking us that same question, and unfortunately there really isn't much of a way around this at this point. Someone asked us about going to Hemet. We actually suggested that they go back to Palm Desert, take Monterey, and take 74, because the length of time this is going to take is quite a while. There are ways to circumvent it, of course, if you take Highway 62 or 111, but you're still going to hit the congestion at that point because the crash is west of Hagen-Lehman Way. So there really isn't any good routes to be able to circumvent this traffic nightmare.
Yep, stay off the highway if you can. Angela Monroe live for us tonight. Interstate 10 still backed up for hours, and again, stay away from the westbound side of the I-10 if you can. Angela, thank you.
And if you happen to be stuck in it, you just have to wait.
Just ride it out. Yeah.
All right. Another rollover crash, this one in the Whitewater area. A silver Toyota pickup heading north on 111 lost control and rolled over several times. The truck came to rest in the desert bordering the highway just south of Snow Creek Canyon Road. You can see in this video the truck's roof was almost completely caved in and it had major damage to its front end. The driver wasn't hurt. And now to that rollover crash in Indio yesterday. We now know the victim's name there. 57-year-old Elsie Shumway of Arizona drifted off the I-10 near the Monroe Street exit. Her SUV went down an embankment and flipped over. The car was so badly wrecked that fire crews had to pry it open to get her out. She did die on scene. No one else was hurt.
The delivery man is arrested for crashing his truck into a light fixture while drunk. 22-year-old Jake Corbin of Covina was arrested early this morning in La Quinta for suspicion of driving under the influence. Police say Corbin crashed his delivery truck into a light fixture inside the Traditions Country Club. Security guards detained him as police arrived. He was taken to the hospital as a precaution, but was later booked into Indio jail. All right, time now for a check on our forecast.
Still hot. Meteorologist Brian Schofield is standing by. Is there any relief in sight?
Well, you know, our first full day of fall today deserves to have an outlook of what we can expect. East Coast, mild conditions. Often in fall, we see bigger storms throughout the southeast and rain just down through the south. We remain relatively dry. That doesn't mean we won't have any rain days, but the coldest air is certainly in the northern tier. For us, we don't have cold air in place yet. No, we've got temperatures that are flirting with 110. We are going to see the winds increase, chance for showers increase, believe it or not, maybe by the weekend, and then temperatures start to tank. We love that. We'll take a look at those numbers coming up in your lifestyle forecast.
All right, thanks, Brian. An ex-con who's been on the run for more than 2 years pled not guilty today to attempted murder. He's been accused of a road rage shooting that happened in Palm Springs, where a pregnant woman was shot in the face. 32-year-old Gabriel Gutierrez was arrested Friday. He's facing 2 counts of attempted murder resulting in great bodily injury and assault with a firearm, along with 1 count of gang activity. The shooting happened back in May of 2012 at the intersection of Crossley and East Ramon Road. Now, according to court documents, an SUV cut off the Cadillac Gutierrez was riding in. The driver of the SUV then pulled up to the Cadillac and made provoking comments, and that's when Gutierrez allegedly opened fire. A pregnant woman inside the SUV had to be taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound to her mouth and the side of her face. She was released, but earlier this week, detectives received information that Gutierrez was at a home in Palm Springs. They caught up with him, and that's where they made the arrest. And new details emerging tonight in an alleged rape case involving a former player of the Palm Springs Power baseball team.
We're learning where the alleged crime happened, and it is raising questions. KMIR's Giselle Puente is live in the newsroom with more. Giselle.
Gino, Thalia, I have this court document here that spells out in graphic detail what police say happened at a house party June 16th in Indio. A woman was allegedly raped. The document also reveals the location of that party, and KMIR News has learned that that party was held in the home of Tim Kayberry. He was recently fired as Palm Desert High School's football coach, but the district maintains his firing wasn't connected to that party and alleged crime at his home. The man police say raped a woman at the party is former Palm Springs Power player 21-year-old Trent Pell. It allegedly happened at this home in Indio. Pell allegedly sexually assaulted the woman while she was unconscious. The home belongs to an ex-football coach, Tim Kayberry. It's unknown if Kayberry was home at the time of the party and alleged crime, but we know he was recently fired from his coaching position. A source tells us he was using profanity at a football game, but the district won't confirm that. The superintendent will only say he's not coaching for now.
He's not coaching now. Will he coach in the future? Probably, maybe. It's up to the school.
But minutes from a school board meeting indicate the district learned about the party at Kayberry's house in early September. And days later, he was relieved of his coaching position he had for nearly 27 years. However, the district denies Kayberry was fired over that party.
These 2 incidences, the one that you're alleging, are completely unrelated. One has nothing to do with the other.
But Kayberry continues to teach English at Palm Desert High School.
I have no reason or evidence to believe that students are in any way at risk or in harm's way by having Mr. Kayberry, Tim Kayberry, as their teacher.
The assistant superintendent also told me that Kayberry's firing may not be permanent and he could coach again in the future. Tim Kayberry is refusing to speak publicly about all of this. In the newsroom, Giselle Puente, back to you.
All right, Giselle, thank you for that. Well, still to come in the KMIR News at 6 in true HD.
The U.S. Secretary of Interior is here in the Valley discussing renewable energy and ways to protect our desert. We have a full report coming up.
And federal aid is granted for Riverside County after recent floods and heavy rains. We'll tell you about that coming up.
Don't forget, KMIR is committed to making the Coachella Valley a better place to live. If you have a problem or story you think we can help you with, email us or call our newsroom. You ask, we investigate. We'll be right back.